Did you get rained out, Scott, or did you get a chance to golf?
It rained the last 4 holes, but
Well, that's not too bad.
it'll be a dry day in the office.
We won our championship, so that was all worth it. Sitting out in the rain.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Recording on your screen. Okay. All right, we are good to go, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Clerk. So we will begin this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone could please rise. And for those that have not done so that are joining, please mute yourself. Feedback here. I don't want to say names of public participants that are being loud, but we'll see. So we'll begin with the pledge here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. Thank you all very, very much. So we will call this meeting to order at 7:05 p.m. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Von Crooks. Uh-oh, we had Timber earlier. Hang on one moment. Let me find her to see if I can unmute her. Von Crooks. Sure hope Timber isn't having audio problems now. She was on earlier. Okay, I'm going to mute myself so I can give her a call quick. If you don't mind holding on one
No
moment.
problem.
Hello, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Roll call. Von Crooks.
Here.
Thank you. Benedetti.
Here.
Kabawatan.
Present.
LaFever.
Present.
Pate.
Here.
Perugi.
Here.
Rizeppa.
Here.
Quorum present, Mayor Rizeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So next on the agenda, we have the minute approval of the July 20th, 2020 regular meeting.
Support.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Benedetti.
Yes.
Kabawatan.
Yes.
LaFever.
Yes.
Pate.
Yes.
Perugi.
Yes.
Rizeppa.
Yes.
Von Crooks.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rizeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So we have nothing on the presentation and proclamation section. So next up, we have public comment regarding items on agenda. Again, we ask that any comment from the public at this portion is strictly on items that are on today's agenda. If anyone comment on today's agenda items, please begin with your name and address and direct all questions through me. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes. And also, if you could please use the virtual raise hand feature at the bottom of the Zoom call screen, that would be helpful as well. But again, we'll have public comment again at the end. This portion is strictly for items on today's agenda. We'll give it just a few seconds here to make sure.
Apparently it's not the council chambers. It's not in the council chambers, like the website says.
Mr. Mill, oh, there we go. All right, does anyone else have their hands up, or does anyone have their hands up, Madam Clerk?
Brian. Pat Bryan.
Is this about McLeod?
No, there's nothing on the agenda today about McLeod.
Nothing today?
Correct.
When will I be able to speak about that then?
No.
We'll have public comment at the end here as well. And we've got a pretty light agenda, so it shouldn't be, knock on wood.
Okay,
As someone who's attended, you know that might not be true. But you'll absolutely have an opportunity to speak.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Is there anyone else, Madam Clerk?
I do not see any other hands raised. Let me just peek real quick to make sure. Okay. No, I do not believe there's any more hands raised.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll move right along here now down into appointments. And I would be asking for a motion to approve the mayor's appointment of Peggy Eaton and Jody Tate to the Civic Commission, Scott Church to the Building Authority, Teresa Anke and John Hodgkin to the Traffic Commission, and appointment of Lori Dixon to the Downtown Development Authority, all for terms expiring on August 1st, 2023.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Cablewatten,
Yes.
LaFever,
Yes.
Pate,
Yes.
Perugi,
Yes.
Rizeppa,
Abstain?
Von Crooks,
Yes.
Benedetti.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rizeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next on the agenda, we have the 33rd District Court, Court Technology Quarterly Payment, and I will defer to our 33rd District Court Delegate, Councilman LaFever.
Thank you, Mayor. Make a motion to receive and place in file the second quarterly payment. The check was for $18,233, and the Trenton share was $3,201.
Support.
Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
LaFever,
Yes.
Pate,
Yes.
Perugi,
Yes.
Rizeppa,
Yes.
Von Crooks,
Yes.
Benedetti,
Yes.
Cablewatten.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rizeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next up, we have from the Michigan Municipal League designation of voting delegates, and I will defer to our delegate, Councilwoman Von Crooks, for this one.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Are we going to just actually make a motion to, reassign the delegates that we have now?
Yes, yeah, it's for the annual meeting of the MML as a virtual conference from September 29th through October 2nd.
Yes, I'd make that motion.
Support.
Yep, thing has been moved and supported, and just for the record, for anyone watching, that is to designate Councilwoman Von Crooks as our delegate and myself as the alternate, as is currently situated anyway. So it's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Pate,
Yes.
Perugi,
Yes.
Rizeppa,
Yes.
Von Crooks,
Yes.
Benedetti,
Yes.
Cablewatten,
Yes.
LaFever.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rizeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next up, we've got our Human Resources Director, a service agreement to take over Medicare Part D services.
Yes, good morning or good afternoon or evening, Mayor and Council. Back on January 30th, Council approved the agreement with Part D advisors to reopen and review the Part D subsidy services previously submitted by another provider for years 2014 to 17. Part D advisors far exceeded the expectations as they were able to return an average of $58,733 in additional subsidy for each of the 4 years for a total of almost $235,000, less their 30% approved fee for a net total of $164,453. This additional money was not collected by our current provider of the service. I'm asking Council allow me to enter in the agreement with Part D advisors to continue this exceptional service. With this agreement, they will be able to complete the subsidy for 2019 and for future years of this contract as it would permit. The fee structure for this service is 10% of the subsidy being collected.
I would so move.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Peruggi,
Yes.
Rezeppa,
Yes.
Von Crooks,
Yes.
Benedetti,
Yes.
Cabawatton,
Yes.
LaFever,
Yes.
Pate.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rezeppa.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Next up on the agenda, we have Chief Scheffler, request to purchase 2 new police vehicles.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I move to request the purchase of 2 new police vehicles from Gorno Ford with quotes from the My Deal, ensuring the lowest available prices. One's a 2020 Ford F-150 Police Responder Super Crew for $49,695. The other is a 2020 Ford Utility Interceptor K9 unit for $53,655. These purchases could result in costing less depending on items being transferred from older vehicles in our fleet, or if we choose not to get some of the options that are available. The funding will come from the Trenton Police Federal Forfeiture Fund account and the Trenton Police State Forfeiture Fund account.
So moved.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, Councilman Cabawatton.
Chief, if I may, just on both those units, so they are already it looks like they're already pre-striped and labeled and pretty much street ready, maybe with the exception of a radio or something.
Yes, sir. There's some options that are listed with the paperwork I sent that we will not be putting on those cars. So that's I'm anticipating that that's going to bring the price down from where it is right now.
Okay. The other question on the K9 unit, the Interceptor, is that basically an Explorer?
Yes, that's
Okay.
they call it the Utility Interceptor now.
Okay, very good. No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else from council have a question? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Rezeppa,
Yes.
Von Crooks,
Yes.
Benedetti,
Yes.
Cabawatton,
Yes.
LaFever,
Yes.
Pate,
Yes.
Peruggi.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rezeppa.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. And do we have any late items tonight?
No, we do not.
All right, fantastic. So we'll move on now to disbursements and statements and then reports, where we'll defer to our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman Benedetti.
Like to make a motion to authorize disbursements for August 3rd, 2020, amount of $520,623.51.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Von Crooks,
Yes.
Benedetti,
Yes.
Cabawatton,
Yes.
LaFever,
Yes.
Pate,
Yes.
Peruggi,
Yes.
Rezeppa.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rezeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
I'd like to also make a motion to receive and place on file the Fire and Police Pension Board minutes from June 17, 2020, Retiree Healthcare Benefits Plan Board Meeting minutes, May 20th, 2020, and June 17th, 2020. Board of Review minutes, July 2020. Planning Commission Public Hearing minutes, July 8th, 2020.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Benedetti,
Yes.
Cabawatton,
Yes.
LaFever,
Yes.
Pate,
Yes.
Peruggi,
Yes.
Rezeppa,
Yes.
Von Crooks, Von
Yes.
Crooks. Thank you. Motion carries, Mayor Rezeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So that wraps up the official business for us. So we will move on now to other council business. I did have a couple things I wanted to update everyone on, as I've done at all the last few meetings. As of today's report, which showed us with 1 new positive case in Trenton, we are at a cumulative total of 194 positive COVID-19 cases in Trenton. Again, those are all confirmed positives of Trenton residents, and that is over the last 4.5 months or so. So that is not like an outstanding number of people that currently have it or anything like that. I believe that's an increase of 15 since our last meeting. But fortunately, the silver lining here is that the fatality number has stayed flat at 9. And we certainly hope to keep it that way. So definitely want to keep encouraging everyone to wash your hands as much as possible, wear your mask whenever you're out and about, and do your best to practice social distancing. And hopefully we can see some semblance of normal here sometime soon, if ever. But yeah, it's nice to dream, right? I do, and I don't know if he's actually on here today. I didn't see the name in the front. But I did want to give a big thank you and congratulations that this is the last official council meeting for our Director of Police and Fire Services, Steve Voss, before he gets to do the enjoyable retirement stuff, spend it in Florida or on a golf course or something like that. But Steve, I think it goes without saying, has done a fantastic job for us and for our city. Someone who grew up here is given the entirety of his career to our community, but also, again, has done so much from our community in that aspect. Oh, okay, there's Steve. Now I see him a little bit. It's already growing the retirement beard, too. I like it. But just really can't say enough, how disappointing it is to lose you and all. We know that we'll be in great hands with both Todd and Dean here and all. We'll miss seeing you, that's for sure. But you've certainly earned it, and I hope you enjoy yourself.
Thank you, Mayor.
Hey, it's the least I could do. So thank you a ton for your service to our city over the course of the entirety of your life, for that matter. Did want to, I know that frankly, the bulk of people watching are probably watching because of the zoning ordinance. So do want to let everyone know that we are getting your comments. Right now, our administration is actually going to be compiling, hopefully by the end of this week, if not early next week, a document that kind of runs through like a frequently asked question. I know that most of, if not all of us, watch the Planning Commission meetings, so we got a good sense. And I've been reading all the messages I've been getting about it. Have a good sense of what a lot of the overarching themes are that people have questions or concerns about, or want more information on. And hopefully this document will do a good job of addressing that, laying out, how we got to this position to begin with. There is, I don't want to sound in any way, shape, or form dismissive. There are certainly valid concerns, but some of the ones that are getting a little bit more frequently, unfortunately, are kind of based on some misleading information. So, I know that people are worried about the speed at which this has gone through. However, I believe this started, it was either 2015 or 2016, this zoning ordinance. This process got initiated by our Planning Commission before the property was foreclosed on, before Crown Enterprises was involved, specific to McLeod, that is, that it's been going on for quite a while. The concern that Crown would not have to submit a site plan is another one that is that's false. That they absolutely, just like anyone else, when that day does come, will have to submit a site plan, no matter what they want to do, frankly. And I think that it's important to know that, right, this isn't there's no special favors being done or anything like that. That they are going to be held to the same standard just as everyone else, and based on some portions of the purchase agreement that they have with Wayne County, even more stringently so. And then the other being that there is, the site, we talk about the mixed use portion quite a bit, but roughly 1/3 of the site is actually presently zoned as I-3, which is the most intense, heavy uses imaginable, and the ones that I think that, above all else, and not to get too deep into it, are the ones that really, really need to be, moved away. As I've said for the past 4 or 5 years, need to not only be moved away from the waterfront, but in many instances are things that I'm not comfortable having in the community at all. So again, keep an eye out for this document. It'll be, the next few days that'll hopefully be able to sort through some of this and answer a good chunk of the questions that we've been getting. Again, if you do have questions, don't hesitate. Our contact information is all publicly listed on the website. Please send me an email. Always, happy to do what I can to help disseminate things. So that's all I'll have on that for now. That is something that we don't have a dead set timeline on when this is going to be taken up, but we are getting legal opinions, zoning opinions, things of that nature to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and can comfortably say that we've left no stone unturned in this process. And then the very last thing that I have tonight, well, maybe, but I would actually ask between Scott and Alan, actually, if you guys are able to give an update on where we're at with Riverside Hospital. It's interesting being able to ask that from this portion of the council meeting. So,
Alan, if you can unmute yourself, please, Alan.
Mute. There, I am here. Thank you. Scott and Mayor, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
But we are working through this process. The court controls what is done with the hospital at this point. The judge is very serious that he wants the blight of this hospital to be cleaned up and to be done quickly. Part of the problem is there are major cleanups to be done. The doctor, who is the owner, has set aside about $400,000 so far, and he is testing the water to find out if it's contaminated and can be put through the system or has to be taken to a landfill. That's number one. Getting the equipment working so we can figure out how the pump works. And we have some temporary electric that's going to be going in there that DTE is allowing us to install. As for the roof, he's also got projects to repair the roof so there's no longer leaking from the roof, which is the place he thinks it came from. The issue has already been raised about whether there's going to be an Oprah or a brownfield, and that is not our decision right now, that's for sure, what's going to be done. Right now, we want the blight removed, and that should be the only goal in this process. When the blight is removed, you'll have a building that won't look like a vandalized empty building that you have now, and that's hopefully where we will go, and he will then make a decision. I understand the doctor would like to use the former hospital building, not the hospital itself, but the outbuilding, in the outpatient building, as a rehab as rehabilitated, so he can move his offices in there. But that has not come to where we've seen any of his requests yet. The hospital's got to be cleaned out. Do you have any questions?
anyone from council have any questions?
Councilwoman Pate has her hand raised.
Oh, great. Councilwoman Pate.
Hi, thank you. I mentioned the security officer in the past. They are parking a car with their headlights on all night long facing the residential properties. So I'm just getting a little tired of seeing bright lights shining through my windows, and would appreciate if they could turn the car in the direction of the actual hospital and not necessarily in the direction of the homes.
I would think if our police go and ask them to do that, I think that they very well would do that. If they don't, I will formalize it with the court. But we have had such an effort to get the guard service to be there at all. I'd like to see if we can do it through the guard who's there.
Thank you. Yeah, the car does not move all night long, and when I wake up in the morning, it's still in the same position with the same lights on, and I don't see them driving the property. I remember Henry Ford would be in a car that would be constantly driving all night long up and down the side streets and through the parking lot. So I'm a little concerned also about the actual use of this security. They're just parking a car there.
Okay, if you want me to contact the court about that, I will. But
yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm trying so hard to get the water out of the basement and get the hospital cleaned up. And I mean, a short synopsis is that the mercury count's out of sight compared to what the city can accept. So, I've had some estimates that are over $2 million. The owner of the hospital who's paying for this has told the receiver that they have someone who can clean the water up, and I don't know how. So it's within the legal limits. I'm not sure it's true, but if they can do that for $180,000, which is going to cost us $1.8 million, I would think that the desire to save public funds is substantial. I would like as much of this done privately as possible. I think it will save the city and the state a lot of money, which could well be spent somewhere else right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Does anyone else have any questions? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much, Alan. We appreciate it very much. Other than that, I think that I'm probably going to, in the next hour, that I'll kick myself over, that I'll forget about. But with that, we'll move on to the rest of council here. And I think this time we're beginning with Councilwoman Von Crux. Woman Von Crux.
Sorry.
It's Councilwoman Von Crux. Oh, she might be having.
Yes,
There you
I have nothing at this point tonight.
All right, thank you very much, Councilwoman. Next up, we have our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman Benedetti.
The only thing I want to say, Stephen, is, yeah, I mean, you made a great statement there, and it is
Did you
something
hear
that,
Oh, yeah, we got you, Timber.
Yeah.
I think she's on a little
Can
bit
you
of a
hear me?
lag.
Hello? Hello?
Yep.
Goodbye.
Can you hear me?
Yep, thank you, Timber. It was a little bit of a lag there. So anyway, Councilman Benedetti.
Hello?
we got you, Timber. So what I was saying, Stephen, is I think your statement at the beginning here was ultimately exactly what we need to do. We need to look at every option. We need to think about.
Did you
what
get
we
me?
can
Did you
do.
get me? Jeez.
Go ahead, Rick. I think it's just a delay from earlier.
Debbie, mute her. We can
Okay.
work on, we can work on stuff on our end. Yeah, that the group voted last week to do what they did.
Okay, can you hear me?
But we ultimately get the final say. I mean, I was not real happy with how the meeting went. I think there's some things we should be looking at with everything along there. But we have to
Okay.
make sure that we spend our time with Mr. Ackerman or another attorney who can advise us exactly
Okay,
what our
thanks.
rights are with everything. So with that, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it's great the residents are involved. I am happy to see them and so many of them commenting and sending stuff, because that means somebody's watching and listening. And Stephen, you've been here you've been here almost as long as I have. You're a little younger than my career was here. But I want to say this is one of the first times I've seen this much involvement in the residents. And I think it's a great thing. And we need to spend our time and do the due diligence before we make any decisions on that property. The other thing I have is that, I don't know if people looked at the board docs, but there's a letter in there addressed to Parks and Recreation. And I think it's something that we all should comment and give them kudos for, because we decided to do something that we didn't know if it was right or wrong with opening the pool. We did it. It seemed to work okay. Other places have done it. It's worked okay. But to get that letter from that lady to say what a great time her kids had, that's awesome. That's what we base our community on. So that's what we do with that stuff. We need to let people know. That's all I got.
Thank you, Councilman. And yeah, I was really pleased to see that letter. And that's why we wanted to put it on the agenda, just for informational purposes, because I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but almost 90% of the correspondence we get is people complaining or telling us about something we've done wrong. It's very rare that it's, oh, wow, thank you for, yeah, great job to Joanne, Tim, the whole Parks and Rec team, everyone that worked on that, because I'm very it sounds like it's working from everything that I've heard so far. That it was a tough, grueling process, but we found a way to have some semblance of normalcy throughout all of it. So thank you for that, Rick.
And lastly, I'm sorry, I won't pull a bill. I won't wait till somebody else starts. I'll do it before that. Steve, thank you for your dedicated service to the city. I did get to work with you, and I will tell people that you were always one of the guys that you were always concerned about our safety, your safety, the residents' safety on anything we did and anywhere we went. And you always work hand in hand with the fire department. And as the director, I think you did a great job leading both departments. You took everybody's knowledge and education and used it to make Trenton a better place. And I want to thank you for your years of service to the city, and enjoy your baseball games.
Thank you, Councilman.
That's it, Steve.
Thank you very much, Councilman. So next up, we have Councilman LaFever.
Wow, is Rick done already? I thank you, Rick. I just want to follow up what Rick said and congratulate Steve Voss. He's a strong family of police officers. His dad was one of the best cops around, and his brothers are also in the field. He's done a great job in the city of Trenton. He should be proud of himself. I know his dad and family are very proud of him. So am I. Steve, kudos to you and your family. Next issue is that I'm really proud of all people being involved in the zoning. It's good to see them involved. I got a lot of letters and phone calls. However, my email was down, and today at 4:30, Teresa fixed it for me. So I have a bunch of emails to read that people have sent me that I have not seen yet, but I will see them in the next couple of days. And it's back up working now. So if you have something you want to send me, please go ahead and do that. And it's good to have involvement. And once the facts come out, I had a problem with Channel 4. I don't know where they're getting their information from. They don't have the right information. I'd hope the city would have a contact person for all the news media and then not be somebody else on the street that we give out the right facts to them. So that's important to me. Everybody has to have the facts. So once again, and I want to congratulate Mike Oakley. Mike's the new, I believe, deputy chief. Is that true, Mayor?
Well, I don't know if it's formally been accepted at this point, but
Okay.
Scott, is that fair to say?
I'll just say he would make a great deputy chief if they ever got a chance to do it. Okay. I'll say that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Scott, I don't know if you wanted to chime in by any means on that piece of it.
I don't need to chime in unless Chief Scheffler feels it's appropriate to. Thank you.
What?
I didn't see Chief Scheffler still on. I asked him, actually. I apologize. All right. Thank you. Oh, yeah, it's right under my cursor. I didn't see your name, Chief Scheffler. I apologize there. All righty. Well, thank you very much, Councilman LaFever. Next up, Councilman Peruggi.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I agree with Rick's statement that we have to do all our homework and get this done right. So I appreciate the emails that I've been receiving. I'd like to hear all the vantage points. Some have been favorable, some have not. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to do that. They've been very well written. They haven't been accusatory or attacking. I think that helps have a dialogue. So also I would like to say thank you for Director Voss's years of service. He's always been a pleasure to work with, and I wish him the best of luck. All set, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. You must not be getting all the same correspondence as me. Anywho, thank you very much, Councilman. Next up, Councilwoman Pate.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to continue to promote the Trailtown initiative called Wheeling Wednesdays. You can download the free app called Action Bound. We are currently wrapping up the Nature Bound, and the next one to roll out is actually a walking tour of the Cultural Center. And it is absolutely beautiful right now. So hopefully you can bike, drive, or walk up to the Cultural Center and explore the grounds. And check out Trenton Parks and Rec for more information on how to download that app. It's free. And we've been getting a lot of positive comments on that. So it's a chance to get out and do something in our city. Also wanted to thank Debbie Devitt for running that public hearing and all the comments, and over 300 people. Managing that on the Zoom was probably nerve-wracking, but she did a great job. And I also wish her luck tonight and tomorrow, and hope that voting goes well. And that I just want to ask everybody to please be patient as she tries to get voting done in a safe manner for everyone tomorrow. Congratulations, Steve. I recently retired about 3 years ago from public service, and it is an amazing feeling. And I look forward to seeing you at your party, and hopefully you have a great rest of the week, skating out on a high note. And just thanks for everything that you've done for us, and you've set the precedent for the next person coming in. And the bar is pretty high, so thank you for that. And then I'll just quickly conclude that I appreciate the unprecedented civic engagement that has been going on in the zoning battle. I want to remind you that this is rezoning for the entire city, and that it is not just a one part. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot to study. I hope council spends a long time looking at every aspect of it. Your time that you're spending on this, we're hearing from people who are very young to very old, to people who have just moved here, to people who have lived here forever, from people in North Trenton to South Trenton to, out on King Road. And it's great to see. And I just want to mention that your comments are being heard by me. I'm trying as best as I can to offer up anything I can to help the situation. And I guess I also want to say that, in 2017, our master plan said that it was supposed to be a planned unit development. And so, yeah, it may have been going on for a long time before that, but it was decided in 2017 and then just recently changed to industrial waterfront. The other thing is that we talk about site plans, and I just want to be clear that, yes, they have to submit a site plan, but a site plan for a PUD or a mixed development is a lot different than a site plan for an industrial center. And I think that's what people are mostly concerned about. So whatever we can do to take our time and really think this through. And I had a bunch of questions that I still need to get answered as well. So I'm working for you and gonna make it the best that we can based on the position that we are currently in. And thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Appreciate that. And you did say something that made me think of the one other thing that I was going to say. Remind everyone to go vote tomorrow if you haven't done so already. And yes, please, 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 although you don't have to, if you please wear a mask while you're in there. Next up, last but certainly not least, Councilman Kabawatan.
Good evening, everybody. Basically, it's all been said. First of all, congratulations to Steve Voss. My short time working with you and with the city, you've been a joy to work with, very professional. I wish we had many more years working together, but again, congratulations on your retirement. Very well deserved. Next item, there's someone amongst us, I won't name any names, but they went through a loss recently. My condolences to you and your family. You know who you are, and my condolences to you and your family. Anytime you lose someone that's loved, it's a tough thing. So my condolences, thoughts are out to you and your family. And then, Mr. Mayor, you've hit it. Everybody has hit it, I think, prior to me speaking tonight. But there's a lot of moving parts in this whole topic that's come up with not only MSC, but the whole combined rezoning as a whole. And I think we owe it to the constituents of this community that we roll at this on a slow process, overturn every stone, and provide all of the information possible. I'm sure in the end, somebody's going to be happy and somebody's going to be sad, but I think we owe it to everybody to make sure that that we overturn all the stones. We're dealing with facts and not rumors and innuendo. So I've sent you over a laundry list of some requests. Scott Church, my apologies to you. Hopefully you're still talking to me after this request, because there's some more coming. But you know, I think these are the topics. This is the information we need to understand, kind of some historical, kind of where, you know, which road do we go down and why, and where does that lead us? So, you know, that said, I look forward to hearing more information from everybody. Again, the emails have been picking up. You know, had some mail at the house, had some mail at City Hall. Keep them coming. It's good to get the perspective of everyone, and it's good to get everybody's opinion and the input, even some of those residents that don't live in the city, or I shouldn't say that, even those folks that don't live in the city. And we've received feedback from other communities as well. So to me, keep them coming. I'll try to respond to them as quick as possible. Try to do it timely and be factual about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilman. All right.
Mayor.
Oh, yep, Councilwoman.
Mayor.
Yep.
Yeah, I really didn't get to speak like I wanted to because my thing kept muting me out or whatever.
Yeah, fortunately you sound good now. Oop.
I think you spoke too soon, Mayor.
I think so too.
Seems to be.
But I missed an opportunity if I could speak again.
Absolutely, yeah, please do, Councilwoman.
My you hear me? Hello?
Yep.
Somehow it keeps saying that the host is muting me out, so I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I just wanted to speak on behalf of. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yeah, your video was cutting in and out, and so was your audio there.
Well, yeah, something's going on over at your end because it keeps saying the host is muting you. The host is muting you. So I don't, you know.
What'd you do today? Oh my gosh, Timber.
Complex. Pardon me?
Timber, I think we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to, you know, just say kudos to Steve Boss. I didn't get to say too much with the speaker going in and out, but Steve is such a man of integrity, and his family was people of integrity. And I just enjoyed working with Steve. And I know he's going to have tough shoes to fill, but our Trenton employees always end up the best. So I wish him well, and I too will see if there's a McCall Steel deal. I know that we're all getting a ton of comments and a ton of mail, and I don't mind it. And I'm really glad that this citizens degree are involved. It's important that everybody stays informed, but it's also important to stay classy with this, get all the facts, and you know, we just have to make sure that the residents know that we've been working on this for many years. This is not new, and I just, you know, sometimes the tough decisions have to be made. And I just want everybody to have all the facts that they need so we can all make an informed decision. And I think the Planning Commission did what they thought was right. And I know this council is going to do what we think is right. I know Bill Lefevre and myself, we've been there for many years. Bill, I think 31, myself 27. And sometimes that the residents, you know, don't really know how hard we work at this stuff, that I have never done anything that was, you know, their concerns are my concerns. And so I want the residents to know that we've worked hard on this. We've done a lot of our due diligence over this. And when we get all the facts, they'll have the facts. But I just want everything reported correctly. What has been out there in the street is not correct information. And it's not fair to us to get these emails that are accusatory and they're not correct. So I've said this all along, Mayor, and on every issue. And I'm on the resident side that is, going to be for the whole, for all the residents. So we are getting some good comments and stuff along with, the negativity. But I just want everyone to know that I'm going to do the best job I can for you, as I always have. And I think the rest of council feels the same way. So that's all I have to say. Sorry I missed out in the first round. That's it. Thank you.
No problem at all, Councilwoman. Councilwoman, glad we were able to get you in there too. So we certainly appreciate that very much. Well, that does it.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So that does it for council. Now we will move on to our other elected officials. Madam Clerk, do you have anything for us tonight?
I do, thank you. First, I'd like to thank Councilwoman Pate for her kind words and well wishes. And I would like to remind everyone that tomorrow is the state primary election. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And our next regular council meeting is Monday, August 17th.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Next up, our assessor, John Dahlquist.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening. I really have nothing to say, but I think Councilman Benedetti wanted to know what the percent of the land was mixed use as to I-3 on the MSC site. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think he had asked just before the meeting about, how much of I-3 was mixed use.
Yeah, the percent is 84% mixed use, and 16% is currently I-3. But I wanted to let you know, 2007, it was changed from I-3 to mixed use for the REI project that never got wheels. And I also just wanted to say one more thing, that the EPA will have much to say what happens on this site due to the unknown conditions of the soils because of the previous use on the site. So that is also something that I think people, really have to understand, that the EPA is going to have quite a bit of say in what goes on at that site also, working with the new owner too.
And just as a question there, Mr. Dahlquist, so you said, it was it 2006, 2007 that it was changed, but prior to that, was it 100% I-3 up until then?
The whole site was 100% I-3 prior to 2006 or 2007.
Okay.
When it was changed. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you very much. Do you have anything else?
You are welcome. No, I'm all set. Thank you so much. Oh, I just wanted to say congratulations to Steve.
Lots of congrats to Steve. There you go. Mostly, I think everyone's just congratulating him that it's his last council meeting he has to watch, so his Monday nights get a lot more fun, but.
He's a very nice man.
Absolutely.
I'll sign off.
Absolutely. Take care, Mr. Dahlquist. Thank you. And lastly, but certainly not least, our treasurer, Mr. McCullough.
Well, maybe it is least. Who knows? Anyways, I just want to send along my best wishes to Steve Voss. I was going to do that anyhow, so that's all I've got from my COVID stationary at home. Best luck to y'all, and appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. McCullough. So we'll now go on here to our department heads and officials. And first, I've got to let him be the leadoff hitter here, too. See, Steve's even got his hand up, too. He couldn't go out quietly, huh?
Yeah, well, of course not. You knew I was going to have something to say. I always do. I just want to echo every council and mayor and department head. I really enjoyed working at the city of Trenton for 26 and a half years, and as of Monday, it will be for the first time in 53 years that either me or my father didn't work there. So it's going to be quite a transition. I wish we could do this in person, but make the most of it. But I really appreciate all the kind thoughts, and I always say that the city will go on. You got a great police chief, you got a great fire chief. You got real good police officers and firemen that this place will be just fine without me. But, I always did things with a thought in mind of how I would like to be treated when I treated people, the way I treated them on the road, and then when I got into administration. And I think if you live by that, you can be pretty successful. So thank you.
Thank you again, Director. We couldn't ask a better guy to be here for 26 and a half years. So take care and definitely enjoy yourself. You've earned it. Thanks, Director. Do we have any other department heads wishing to speak? All right, I don't think we have any. I'm a little bit thrown off here. So next up then, I think so let me just double check. I think that's it. Yep, okay. Just want to make sure I didn't lose my place here. But so now we move on to public comment. If anyone would like to speak, we ask you, you begin by stating your name and address. Please direct all questions through me, the chair. And we ask that you limit all comments to 5 minutes, please. So if you could use the raise hand feature to get you queued up on that. And Madam Clerk, I'll probably defer to you calling on if you don't mind, and I can answer any questions and things from there. So.
Okay, the first person that has her hand raised is Caitlin, and I'm going to probably not pronounce your last name correctly. I apologize. Razullo? I'm going to unmute her right now.
Okay. Caitlin, yeah.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
It's Racidlo. The Z is silent.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
As someone with an R and the Z, I can relate, except mine is very much present. And yeah, normally people just either ignore it or just lop off the R. So it's always a mixed bag.
Yeah. So I just wanted to.
Could you begin with your address too, please, ma'am?
Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm Caitlin Adams Racidlo. I live at 2414 Medford Street. And I have a comment and a question. I don't know what's the best way to handle it. My question is, in terms of the rezoning, I know that it was mentioned that it's, an entire city package deal. Are the different areas able to be voted on independently by the council, or is it a whole package that's being proposed and the whole package has to be approved or denied?
That is actually a very good question, and I'll, Scott, interrupt me at any point if anything I'm saying is misleading. But that's actually, or Alan for that matter too. But yeah, so as we understand it right now, we're actually kind of awaiting clarification on that exact question, but do believe that it can be done on a piece by piece basis, for lack of a better phrase.
Okay, and then I just wanted to make a statement expressing my disappointment in the public statement that had been made by the council person about those of us who are opposed to the rezoning of the McLeod site, where there was kind of an insinuation about name calling with tree huggers, and that I think may have incited some of the frustration that you all are hearing from the residents. But we just want to really hope that everything is being considered and that our perspective on the issues is actually going to be represented, because that's a very disappointing thing to hear from a representative about their constituents and their residents. So that's I guess all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sidlow. We appreciate that.
Okay, the next hand raised is Amy Chappelle. And Amy, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. Okay.
Okay, wait.
Ms. Chappelle? You are unmuted, Ms. Chappelle. We cannot hear you, though, unfortunately. I can see you.
Tell her to join using computer audio.
Amy, can you join using computer audio?
Still can't hear you.
Okay, hi.
I'm jumping in. I'm Cheryl Caluette.
Oh, ma'am, nope, yeah. We've got an order here.
Amy, maybe you can try a dial-in number. 'Cause we're not picking up your sound.
Yeah, and if you still, we'll make sure that you still have the ability to give to. But if you, try from one of the, if you try dialing on a cell phone, then our clerk can let you in. Right,
Okay, so the next person to speak would be Edith Traster.
All righty. Miss Traster.
Yes, this is Edith Traster. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. My name is Edith Ann Traster. I live at 2645 Riverside Drive, apartment 1113, Trenton, Michigan, 48183. I do live at Trenton Towers, and I look out onto the McLeod property from my 11th floor window, so I see what's going on, and I was a member of the CAG group. I want to put my preference on the record and request that Trenton Council vote to leave the zoning for the McLeod property as multi-use. I'm understanding that's what it is right now, and the proposal is to change it. I'm strongly opposed to rezoning any part of Trenton waterfront as industrial. It seems to me that this is an opportunity to maintain and possibly improve the safety and quality of life here in Trenton on the water. I would like you to, the council I'm speaking to please represent the interests of the overwhelming majority of residents who want the McLeod site to be fully cleaned up for mixed-use redevelopment. That is what I had written, and I want to ad-lib just a little to talk about the misunderstanding out there in the world of Trenton. I came late to the protest the other day on City Hall steps. And I believe that there is some misunderstanding out there, but just because people don't have all the facts and have it exactly right, the strong feeling of the members the people that live around here is that we really don't want that redeveloped as industrial. And I just want to make my position clear that I really want it to stay mixed use as the way it is, as I understand it right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment, Ms. Traster. We appreciate that.
Okay, do you want to take a moment and see if Amy can, if we can hear her now? Amy, if you want to try to speak now. Like she still doesn't have her audio fixed, so we'll go on to Pat Bryan.
Ms. Bryan?
Thank you. Pat Bryan, 1926 Church Place in Trenton. And thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council members, for allowing me to speak. I speak for many people. We are vehemently opposed to the rezoning of Crown Enterprises property, which we call McLeod Steel, from mixed use to industrial, which is I-3. My husband and I have sent letters, signed petitions, and attended many City Council and Planning Commission meetings regarding this issue, as well as that of the derelict Riverside Hospital. The 5-4 vote from the July 14th Planning Commission Zoom meeting was heartbreaking. I'm sure you all heard that every single comment from Trenton, Riverview, and Grosso residents was in opposition to the rezoning. The home in which I've lived for over 35 years is 1/4 mile from McLeod Steel and less than 1 block from Riverside Hospital. It may not directly affect you where you live, but it certainly affects the many residents like me who live near it. Rezoning to industrial use would result in a massive increase in traffic as well as noise, air, and water pollution for all of downriver. This would set any progress made back decades. Even the Grosse Ile Civic Association had sent a report to City Council on December 23rd, 2018, delineating all the potential problems that would arise. When the property was up for sale, several residents voiced their concerns at the City Council meetings, including us. We all warned the City Council about Mr. Maroon's lack of transparency and integrity. I hate to say I told you so, but I did tell you so. During the July 22nd Planning Commission meeting, Mr. Robert Barrett spoke of his 11-year employment with Maroon's company. Mr. Barrett said it was like playing with the devil. Detroit Curbed magazine posted an article on January 6, 2020 entitled, "How the Maroons Became Detroit's Least Worthy Billionaire Family." The Windsor Stars published an article from December 14, 2013 called "Land Grab, How a Bridge Baron Ruined a Neighborhood." The July 14, 2020 Free Press article had an article, Free Press had an article about the Maroon family. Within the article was this quote, "When someone says no, we just look for another way to make it happen," Thomas Skip Mahone, one of Maroon's top aides, told Forbes magazine in 2004. "Do we ruffle feathers? Damn right." End of quote. That says it all. What other proof do we need? Nor can Mr. Sam Hatt be trusted. No matter what Crown Enterprises says they're going to do with the property, they will do whatever they please if the land is deemed for industrial use. At the July 22nd Planning Committee meeting, Mr. Tallarico read a list of materials and manufacturing that could not go on the property. But if the Maroons want any of those rejected things and uses on the property, they'll do it. They cannot be trusted. The News Herald recently had a quote from Timber Bond Crooks. "The tree huggers think that it's going to be a park. I'm getting a lot of calls and emails about it. Some people would like to see it as something other than industrial. That's not why it was bought." End of quote. Did someone pull the wool over the citizens' eyes? That's an incorrect statement as far as I'm concerned. All people who have voiced their concerns would like to see it as something other than industrial. Show me some of the statements of those who don't. Mr. Lefevre and Mrs. Bond Crooks actively promoted a heavy industrial vision at the county commission meeting where the deal was finalized, and they promoted the deal as the will of the Trenton residents. That's another incorrect assumption. Yet the 2017 City Council agreed to sell the property to Crown Enterprises, even though there was another viable bidder who came prepared to present the plans for the property. I was there at that meeting. He was very quickly rejected, and I would still like to know why. I don't know why you feel like you need to vote in favor of the rezoning. Are we afraid of litigation? Does Crown Enterprises have something over our heads? You all were elected by the citizens of Trenton to represent them and to carry out the will of the majority of those citizens. You all have a moral duty and an ethical obligation to the residents of Trenton and its neighboring communities to keep us safe and healthy. You do not have an obligation to Crown Enterprises. You can blame them or Wayne County or whomever, but the bottom line is your civic responsibility to the residents who elected you. And don't whine that it'll cost the city X amount of dollars to keep zoning as mixed use. No amount of money can put a price on the health and well-being of downriver citizens. Falling property values.
Brian, that's your time. Thank you very much for your comments, Ms. Bryan. I apologize, but did hit that 5-minute mark. All right. So next, Madam Clerk.
Next, we have Kathleen Quirk. Kathleen, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself. There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, we can hear you.
My name's Kathleen Quirk, 3506 Greenview, Trenton, Michigan. I want to commend Pat, who just spoke. Eloquent, well said, thank you. I won't take my 5 minutes. I really want to just, it's more of a point of order. I was also on the Planning Commission meeting, and I know this Zoom world is new to a lot of people. As a communications specialist for Ford Motor Company, I find that people are just getting used to technology. And I want to make sure that it is made clear at the beginning of all of these meetings how to share your voice. We tell people to raise their hand. Don't tell them that they must open the participants panel to do that. Many, I think, believe that they can just hover over the reactions icon and see the hand and think that means they're raising their hand. Or they have a video camera on and they're holding up their hand. So I want to make sure that it's always a point of order, that it's very clearly explained to people how they activate that raise hand digitally. So I mentioned this at the Planning Commission, so I want to mention that again today. I also want to say that my husband and I have lived in Trenton for 30 years. We are not from here, but we feel it's our home. Our children live here, our grandchildren live here, and we hope to continue to live here by our grandchildren. I get emotional about it. My husband wore a bulletproof vest for many, many years for the city of Trenton. I would hate to have to leave my grandchildren because of this rezoning. Please, please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Quirk. Appreciate that. Madam Clerk, who do we have next?
Next is Judy Maja.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much. My name is Judy Maiga, M-A-I-G-A. I live at 24655 Lafayette. I do live on Groseal. I've been actively involved in this issue for the last 2 years. I attended the meeting that Pat Bryan spoke of, where the second bidder was quickly almost not allowed to speak that evening, as I recall, to present their bid. At the time, I appeared and also begged the mayor and the council to be very careful about the person that they were getting involved with, for the air and the water and the surroundings of all of us. And here we are. I don't think there's a lot of misunderstandings in the community. I think people know what's happening. No one thinks it's going to be a park. I would be called a tree hugger any day of the week, but I'm not stupid. I never thought it was going to be a park. I don't think the Maroon family spent $4 million on a piece of property to build a park. I also know that the only power that the city has is zoning. So the way that it appears is that everything is being handed to them. Yes, they're going to have to submit a site plan. Yes, they're going to have to do other things, but they are getting what they want so they can plan ahead and court businesses and do whatever it is that they plan on doing with this without any guarantees to the city. The citizens are asking for you as elected officials to protect them. I have a petition that I've been circulating for 6 months that now has 3,619 signatures on it. About a third of them are from Trenton residents. The rest are from Groseal and Riverview, and there's a few from out of state from people who used to live here and are concerned. Your very own master plan eloquently states, "It is therefore essential to involve the residents and stakeholders within this planning process, not simply as a requirement, but rather as a means to strengthen community ties, emphasize local relationships, learn about obstacles to resiliency, and provide a connection for community buy-in and support." Those residents that are referred to right there are speaking to you right now. There was 200 of them outside of City Hall yesterday. 1,000 of them have signed a petition online. 330 of them appeared on a Zoom meeting at the Planning Commission. Not one of them is saying that they want this. Not one. I understand it's not simple, and I don't think that you guys have an easy decision to make. You have been handed a giant pile of crap. And I know that it's hard. You have a legal document, you have an obligation, and Crown has, if they don't build something industrial, they have to pay $1 million fee. It's part of the agreement that they made with the EPA. The EPA does not have a say in what goes in that property. I'm also on the community advisory group. The EPA only can deal with the land and what is there. They don't have any say on what happens. That's up to you guys. So I'm acknowledging the difficulty present here. I'm begging you to please listen. I'm begging you to take as much time as you need and to make decisions based on what the people that you represent are asking and what generations to come in this area are going to have to live with. And I thank you for all the time, and I thank you for what you're doing. I know it's not easy.
Thank you very much, Ms. Maiga. We appreciate your comments there.
Okay, next to speak is Sarah Ream.
Hi, Sarah Ream, 1827 Etzel Street, Trenton, Michigan. I just have like a super quick point to make, but the first call that I was on for this, it was mentioned that the land that was I-3 was just under half. So that had me kind of thinking, I mean, I've been opposed to this. I was up with my sign yesterday. But then at the beginning, so I have a visual because that's what I do. This would be half, and that's about what I heard on the first call. Just so people of Trenton understand this, I'm going to put it on Facebook too. Then at the beginning of this call, it was said it was about a third, which would be this, which seems like they can use a little less land for that I-3. So we would be giving up a lot more, right? And then, Mr. Dahlquist, thank you so much for getting on and giving facts, because that's what's most important here. We don't look good when you're not giving the facts to the people. We don't have that. I mean, I guess I could have researched it myself and tried to figure it out, go talk to Mr. Dahlquist. But this is 16%. I have a math degree. This is 16%. If they built industrial, whatever, I mean, I don't know what direction it's in, but 16%. We're going to give up 84% because they have this and they're mad about it. So I'm going to spread that to as many people I can in Trenton in case other people weren't on this meeting and found out it's not under half, it's not a third, it's 16%. That's just not a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ream.
Okay, next to speak is Phil Jasmine.
Oh, God.
One of the things that hasn't been discussed.
So do you want to start with your name and address, please?
Bill Jasmine, 2655 Long Meadow Drive, Trenton, Michigan. And one of the things that hasn't been discussed at all is the fact that Maroons already have a railroad right away all along the riverfront that was sold to them by the previous owner. So that's one fact that hasn't come out. Number two fact, if the city of Trenton were to try to buy that from the Maroon Company, it would cost them at least the $4.5 million. Number three fact is it would take 85 to 125 million. That's the current estimate of what it would take to get the land cleaned up to a point where it could be developed in the way that many people would like to see it developed. And where is that money going to come from? So there is a lot of other facts out there, and I don't think the city of Trenton can take on that liability, that risk, and it would set us up almost to be an emergency manager, and police, fire, pensions could go away. We could lose a lot of workers, a lot of policemen and firemen. I think it's a doomsday scenario if we try to move in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jasmine. Appreciate your comments. Madam Clerk, did you want to see if Ms. Shapiro was able to get in?
Yes, I'm looking to see if Amy, if you can hear us now, if you want to try speaking.
Yeah.
I can see her on the screen, but I still cannot hear her.
Yeah, she might be muted on that. Is there a...
You want to try to take your speakerphone off and see if you can unmute
Yes.
that?
Is there like numbers she has to hit or anything like that, like star something to be unmuted?
It looks like you're muted on your phone, Amy. Is it? No?
No, that was...
Oh, okay.
Is there any way actually, if like, I can actually see the video, if you can like give like hand signs of like what your number is you're calling from, and then Debbie, if you're able to like unmute that on the participant, maybe would that work?
Oh, yeah, let's try that.
Okay, looks like, oh, we've got 1248 number, so I think that that's probably hers. Okay. If you want to unmute that 248 number.
Can you hear me?
Now
Yes.
we
Can
can
you guys hear me?
Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
Great. I'm like, I do this every day for work. I manage global research, and I don't know how I could not be heard on this. I thought maybe it was on your side, but you know, I wanted to speak.
Could you begin with your name and address, please, ma'am?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Paul, and I'm at 2207 Ashby in Trenton. And I wanted to speak, and I'm glad I didn't go first because, wow, the other people who spoke, it's like I don't even think I have much else to say. I'm like blown away by the people and the research, and like literally there's not too much to add. My biggest question is about the Trenton Coast Resiliency Master Plan, which is TCRMP for people who may not know. It's a little bit confusing to me when I look at that, and I have not, it's a 107-page document. I just learned about it a couple hours ago. Have not had a chance to read it. But it surprises me that I see this document and I see names of people in this document that voted yes from the Planning Commission the other day. And to me, how can you have your name in that document and vote yes? And like I said, I have not read through it, but I did read that financial assistance for our areas is provided by the Michigan Coastal Zone Management Program, Office of the Great Lakes, Department of Environmental Quality, under the National Coastal Zone Management Program through a grant from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, U.S. Department of Commerce. And I'm getting to the point where I feel like I need to contact someone within those organizations, because if we've been granted money and we're not going to keep up with what we're doing, we've put all this natural habitat in the area, and then we're going to turn around and vote yes. The same people whose names are in that document voted yes. How can you do that and have your name in there? I don't get that, and that's one thing that I want to know the answer to, is how you can say that you're for that and then vote yes on industrial. So to me, it's an oxymoron, and I think I would like to contact the groups that provide the grants for this and get a little bit more information from them and get them involved so that we can all be aware of what's happening as it's happening. And that's all I want to say.
Thank you very much for your comment, Ms. Chappelle. Appreciate that. We have any other hands? So we'll do a last call here, just in case anyone else needs it, to get their hand up. As Ms. Quirk noted, if you can do that by clicking the participants tab on the bottom, and then the hand feature on the right side that will come up from there. At least that's how it looks on my screen. So fingers crossed I didn't just give bad info.
Okay, we do have a couple more hands up now. First one is Katie Shahak. I am
Katie.
terrible for
That's okay. Katie Seahawk.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Siak.
Hi, my name is Katie Seahawk. My address is 20964 Thoroughfare Road on Grosse Seal. And I just would like to echo some of the comments of some of the other residents and people in the area urging the council people to vote no on this rezoning. And also to remind them that not only do they represent the people of Trenton, but they represent all of the downriver area and the surrounding communities. So that's all I had to say. And I just wanted to urge them to vote no. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next is Thomas Wolsick.
Mr. Wolsick, whenever you're ready.
evening, Council. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm Thomas Walsek, 4824 Hillcrest Road. Mr. Mayor and members of City Council, thank you for your time tonight. I'll keep my thoughts actually quite brief because I hadn't finished writing my thoughts, so lucky for everybody here. And I know I get the opportunity to address you later in the future. Pretty simple. I just want to say I agree with the sentiment of everyone who's spoken in opposition to the rezoning of the former McClath steel site. I spoke at the planning meeting. I've written you. I will continue to speak and write you. And I appreciate the openness for more dialogue. That's very encouraging to hear as a resident. I've lived here almost my entire life. And actually this summer I bought what I hope to be is my forever home for my wife and my family. We just brought our firstborn son home a couple of weeks ago. He's 3 weeks old now, and we plan to have many more kids. So my hope is that this city continues to be the kind of place that I want my family to grow up in. I am a third generation Trenton resident. But with all that said, I won't live here if the town reindustrializes. I don't have to, I don't want to, and I just won't. I'm 23 years old. I can take a loss on the house if it even comes to something like that, which I do believe the property values would go down. I don't need to talk all of that negative because I do truly hope and believe in the process that we will find something that will result in the city not going down a path that pushes people away. There's so many good things in this community, and we have so much ability to do things that won't push residents out. I do have, it's not so much an ask as it is a thought that I would like the city council to think about. And I don't even know what the financials would look like. I understand that the property is vacant and that our power plant will be shutting down or something at some point. And the long story short that I have heard is that there is a need for money to come into the city, and that developing McLeod in this way would do that. And I understand that. My open thought, because I don't know what mechanism, whether it's a question, a study, whatever, is what would the cost be? What is the amount of money that we're losing to the coffers? And what would it be if it has to go to the taxpayers? Not to clean it up, not to make it mixed residential, whatever. I would love that. I understand that's going to cost crazy amounts of money. But literally to keep it as a empty field that's not its highest and best use. Nobody likes empty fields, but empty fields are a lot easier to live around than trains and trucks and noise pollution. What is that tax base that we're losing? Is that something that the general taxpayer could stomach to their property taxes, whatever? I know I would be open to some amount of money. Again, not the highest and best use. I would love to see it be a whole lot more than just an empty field, but I would pay for an empty field if it meant I didn't, if it was something payable, I would pay for an empty field if it meant I didn't have to live around trucks and trains and all that. So that's my thought for the council. I don't know how that could be manifested, but I would love to understand more about that. Again, thank you for what sounds like an openness and willingness to provide the community with the facts. And yeah, I yield my time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Wolsek. And I guess just to that, just to answer, I guess sort of, I mean, the property is privately owned, so it would require the city to purchase that, and require the seller to agree to sell it too. I mean, unless it went through the foreclosure process again for some reason. But there, you know, to my knowledge, nobody at that property is behind on taxes or anything. I guess, you know, to try and give a ballpark number at this number, it'd probably be approaching $30 million. The city's annual budget is $20 million. So yeah, hearty sum. All right, thank you very much. Next up, Madam Clerk, who do we have?
Yes, we do have one more hand raised. It's Molly Mesh. And okay, Molly, you should be able to speak now.
Hi there, I'm Molly Mack at 8373 Voight, Groseal, Michigan. And I just want to commend Thomas because I think really our future is young people like him bringing in young families and that to our community. I'm hearing a lot of no's. I'm hearing the voice of Trenton and Groseal residents, Trenton, Riverview. and not Katie Seahawk, I think her name was. She mentioned that it's not just Trenton, not just Crozille, but the whole downriver community. And I think it's more than that. I think it's our country. I think it's Canada. So thank you for all your listening to what is being said. And I hope you take it to heart. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mesh.
Okay, next hand we have is Jana Rose.
Hello, Jana Rose, 2481 Edsel. I just wanted to comment on a couple of the other comments that have been made. Mr. Jasmine mentioning the hundreds or nearly 100 million to clean up the land to get it developed, and mentioned the doomsday scenario. But this issue is not considering the buyback of the property or the railroad, or to be on the hook for any cleanup. What's on the table is to rezone the property, which I wouldn't think would have a risk of bankrupting the city. And so if there are concerns of that, I would like to hear more details there in the FAQ. I interpreted the intention of Mr. Wolsick's question not necessarily as what's the estimated cost to ensure that the property remains vacant, but what is the cost of doing nothing? Knowing that it's owned by a private owner and they have the ability to do developments within its current zoning, what's the cost of leaving the zoning as is, not necessarily the cost to purchase the property. And lastly, I just wanted to thank all the council members who are donating their time to consider this issue, read through all the comments, listen to people, and do their due diligence to learn more and find additional viewpoints and opportunities for funding. Especially, I want to thank those who have personally responded to my emails. I really appreciate this being an open correspondence. And I look forward to seeing those FAQs you mentioned and hearing the answers to some of the really great questions that people have posed in this meeting and that Planning Commission meeting as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rose. Appreciate that.
Okay, next hand raised is Thomas Guthrie.
Mr. Guthrie?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yep, we can.
Yeah, Thomas Guthrie, 2221 Sheridan Court. I'll make it short and sweet, just asking the city council to do what's best for the city. The citizens want to vote no. They bought that property mixed use, come up with a plan to build as with a mixed use zone. And that's all I have at the time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guthrie.
Okay, and the last person to have their hand raised at the moment is our Director of Police and Fire, Steve Voss.
Well, how fitting.
Yeah, well, no, I'm more speaking as a resident right now, and I had a question because I've never really got an answer because I don't know if anybody really knows. Would it be possible to find out if this was opposed, would Crown Enterprises reserve the right to federalize the property and become a railroad? I know they did that in the north end in Riverview, and maybe some of the older council would know the answer to that, how he did that. Oh, that's an extremely dangerous issue. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Director Voss. To be frank, yeah, that is a looming possibility, is that there's a railroad that runs through that property. Interstate commerce supersedes absolutely everything or anything that we could possibly do. And yes, they could go to the federal government, ask for a rail yard designation, and that would frankly probably be the worst case scenario for us. Good to end that one on a high note, huh? So that was good. Do we have any other hands up here, Madam Clerk?
No, I do not see any more hands being raised.
All right. Well, with that, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, would you please call the roll for adjournment?
Kibble-Watton,
Yes.
LaFever,
Yes.
Pate. Oops, let me see if I can unmute Wendy. One moment, please.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Thank you. Perugi,
Yes.
Rizeppa,
Yes.
Von Crick,
Yes.
Benedetti.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rizeppa.
All right. Thank you all very much. It was good to sort of see you all tonight. And hope you all take care, be safe, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Take care. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.